I received a question in Messenger that I want to address today. So one person said, I'm really tired of having belly fat and I've been dieting all the time. What are just a couple of simple things that I can do every day in order to eliminate that? Of course, what I'm going to give here is a couple of very general recommendations because belly fat accumulation is more complex than we think about. And sources for belly fat or weight accumulation in general could be, for example, hypothyroidism is a big cause for slowing down your metabolism and causing weight loss resistance. And slow thyroid can also cause problems with constipation and then bloating, fluid retention, and fat accumulation. Also, hormonal imbalance, like for example, being an estrogen dominance or not producing enough estrogen, or having dysbiosis in a type of microbes in your gut that is producing estrogen. They are called estrobolon. Those are the type of microbes that are producing estrogen in the right amount, but more or less of that bacteria is going to cause having more or less estrogen, and that can cause also problems with fluid retention and even fat accumulation. Stress, cortisol. Cortisol induces the accumulation of fat in the midsection, in the abdominal area as well. As you can see, there are many different things that can be involved in weight loss resistance. So hormones, leaky gut, many related to that. So ideally, always testing is the key first. We want to test what is the root cause of your main concern. Usually one of the main concerns is weight for most people, or not being able to absorb food and then not being able to gain weight. So whatever it is, we have to test to identify what is the root cause. When we identify the root cause, then we can work specifically on that. So you are going to be able to naturally, as a side effect, start shedding off that fat accumulated in the abdominal area and also accumulated maybe in other parts of your body. So that's what happened to me in the past. I was an estrogen dominant. I had SIBO, candida overgrowth. I was constipated constantly. All of that were some of the reasons why I couldn't lose weight, why I was stuck, no matter how many dietary theories I was going through. So at the end, it's about specifically following what your body needs. But answering that question, I want to tell you very simple 2 or 3 recommendations that help you with losing belly fat. So one of them is don't cut fat from your diet. Yes, don't cut fat from your diet. There are so many women in particular that they follow low fat trends. They cook without oil, and that is another question that I got. If I want to lose weight, do I have to cook without oil? You don't want to do that. Fat is not the enemy. You have to cut down in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the ones that are going to be transformed into fat. Yes, glucose, only 20% of the glucose that we ingest goes and is transformed into glycogen, which is the energy, one of the energy sources for the body. Only 20% of the glucose is transformed into energy. The rest of the glucose that we don't transform into energy is going to be transformed in triglycerides, cholesterol, and fat accumulation. So don't cut in fat, cut in the amount of carbohydrates. Of course, not all the fat is made equal, but why you don't want to cut fat from your body first is because cholesterol is the precursor of most of the hormones in our body. So if you cut down in fat and you follow low-fat diets, you're going to end up with really severe hormonal imbalances, adrenal fatigue, adrenal cortical dysfunction. That goes for infertility problems, for weight loss resistance, for kidney problems, for many other problems. Another reason why you don't want to cut fat from your diet is because all the cells in our body that form every single tissue of your body are made by a bilayer of lipids. That's what is surrounding the cells. Those lipids are mostly saturated fat and cholesterol. If we don't have fat in our body, all our organs are going to start failing because the cell membrane is going to start breaking apart and not having a good stability. And the other reason why also it's important to have fat in your body is because a lot of the vitamins and the minerals that we ingest with the food, including the vegetables, are water soluble. So imagine your gastrointestinal tract has a membrane of fat. So as you know, when we put water with fat, they don't blend, they don't merge, right? So if you have a water soluble vitamin, it's not going to be able to go through the fat base membrane of the gastrointestinal tract. So, but however, if you have a fat and a fat, they're both gonna merge and blend, and that is gonna so for example, if you have fat in your diet, it's gonna encapsulate the water soluble vitamin and it's gonna be able to pass the gastrointestinal tract. So those are different reasons why you don't wanna cut fat from your diet. So the fat is not the enemy when you wanna lose weight. Watch out in your carbohydrates and try to have fat. But of course, if you want to use your body fat, you want to control how much fat you want to put from an outside source. If you just want to have fat as energy, put more fat in your diet. If you want to just use fat to teach your body how to be a fat adapted and have energy but still burn your body fat, you need to add less amount of fat in your diet. So don't cut fat, but not all the fat, of course, is made equal. Try to avoid hydrogenated oils, cooking with low smoke points and hydrogenated oils like canola, safflower, sunflower, soybean, grapeseed oil, peanut oil, palm oil, a lot of those refined oils that are causing inflammation and that is translated in weight. So try to stick to organic, unrefined virgin or extra virgin oils and high smoke point for cooking. And then another very good thing that you can start doing also for controlling insulin levels, which is also one of the main causes for fat accumulation, is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting means fasting for 16-17 hours window, 16-18 hours I would say, and then the rest of the time you have a window that you can eat. So the most beneficial way to do intermittent fasting is from your last meal the day before to the first meal the day after, during the night, so you give a rest to your liver, which when it gets overwhelmed with toxins at night can cause a lot of problems. So try to live 16-18 hours. You can drink water, but don't drink lemon juice or anything that spikes insulin levels. So 16-18 hours window, and then you break the fast with a high protein, high fat, high fiber breakfast, and then you can eat your 1 to 2 meals that day. That helps you control insulin, which is the glucose storage hormone, and remember, too much glucose turns into fat accumulation. But the last one and not the least important thing that I have seen a big trigger for fluid retention and belly fat accumulation is electrolyte imbalance. Electrolyte deficiency, vitamin, mineral, and electrolyte deficiency. So be sure that you are taking a good multivitamin and good electrolytes. I can put some in the comments because that can cause fluid retention or fat accumulation. If we're talking about vitamins, if you have a deficiency in certain vitamins, that can cause problems with transforming certain neurotransmitters into others, or like for example, how to transform the stress neurotransmitters, the norepinephrine. If you don't have enough B12, magnesium that help you with that, then you are constantly in the fight and flight mode, and high cortisol and high stress causes fat accumulation. If you, for example, don't have enough iodine, selenium, and zinc, which are important for transforming the non-functional hormone, thyroid hormone, into the functional thyroid hormone T3, then you can end up with hypothyroidism, and that causes also slowing down your metabolism. So always being sure that you don't have vitamin mineral deficiency and you take electrolytes, because if you are trying to go on low carb diets, then you're going to start cutting down grains. That can cause low electrolytes for a lot of people, and minerals like magnesium, potassium. For example, you can feel that your hair is falling, that you are getting more constipated, that you get cramping, your legs are cramping. But also one of the things that can start happening is fluid retention and fat accumulation. So be sure that you are also putting good quality vitamin, minerals, and electrolytes in your diet.